In getting ready for the prom, one must, of course, look their best. And in reviewing a movie about the prom, one must honor that tradition. The Prom. I'll be honest, I was thinking of passing this movie up. Thank God I didn't. So The Prom is a movie on Netflix. It's based off a Broadway musical, which, I'll be honest, I'd never heard of before this movie was coming out. I call myself a fan of musical theater. I'm not like hardcore, but I love musical theater. That just doesn't mean I know every single show that's out there, you know? But anyway, it takes place in Indiana. This girl in high school named Emma Nolan, she's gay, she wants to take her girlfriend to the prom, but in a red state like Indiana, a lot of people are gonna have a problem with that. So this cause goes out on Twitter. It catches the attention of these 4 Broadway performers who decide that to better help their image, they're gonna go to Indiana and help this girl get her prom. And now we have our movie that completely blew me away. I'm serious, man. I was watching this movie with my jaw on the floor for most of it. I mean, granted, maybe I am a little bit biased because I'm a big Broadway fan. So yeah, if you're not a big Broadway fan, then you might not love this movie as much as Broadway fans do. Doesn't mean it's not for you, though. Alright, these 4 Broadway performers, they're played by Meryl Streep, James Corden, Nicole Kidman, and Andrew Rannells, and they all pretty much steal the movie. Meryl Streep's character, Dee Dee Allen, she's the big Broadway star who's kind of full of herself. Then you have James Corden as Barry Glickman, who this character is as gay as a bucket of wigs. Hey, he says it in the movie. His character has a lot of depth to him. You really dive into his character in this movie, actually, and it really makes you feel things. It's really emotional. I mean, as is the entire movie, but I'll get to that later. Keegan-Michael Key is in this movie. He plays the principal of the high school, Tom Hawkins, and this is, I'm pretty sure, the first movie I liked him in. I'm not a huge Key and Peele fan, but he's great because when the Broadway performers show up at this high school, he's like, oh my god, that's Dee Dee Allen, it's Meryl Streep's character. And so they start this little romance thing going on, and I'm like, thank you, Keegan-Michael Key, for having a character that represents straight Broadway fans. Yeah, we're out there, and we also deserve to be represented. So with that, even I felt like I was being represented in this movie. I know, the movie is about representation in minorities. If you're gay or transgender or whatever, I don't know if straight Broadway fan is actually a minority, but kind of feels like it is anyway. Whatever, I felt it. Ariana DeBose is in this movie. She was in the original Hamilton ensemble. She plays Alyssa, who is Emma's girlfriend, which I'll say, she's like in her late 20s in real life. They really did a good job of making her look like a high schooler. Just saying. And Kerry Washington plays her mom. Now, her character in this movie, she's the one who's totally just homophobic, against all the inclusion, and she does a really good job in this movie. You do feel that she does have a certain authority and a presence, but when she's arguing her case, you can't help but be like, what does that even mean? Like, her cases, her arguments don't make any sense. I mean, I live in California. It's a very blue state. I have known nothing but inclusive culture my whole life. So to see that there are actually places like this that are against certain things, it really just, it blows my mind, and I'm in disbelief. Like, I can't believe that there are people with these beliefs. That being gay is wrong. I mean, what? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And the reason I feel so strongly about it is because, again, I grew up with this inclusive culture, so that is seen as normal to me. So the fact that someone is against that, it's like they're not normal people. They're actually like a little messed up in the head because of systemic homophobia, which this movie deals with. And it does it really well, in my opinion. Of course, this movie being based off a Broadway musical, the songs in this movie are really extravagant and abundant. There are a lot of songs in this movie, but they're really good though. I mean, music-wise, they're not like the most impressive songs I've ever heard in a Broadway musical, but the lyrics are fantastic. My favorite song in the movie is this one that Andrew Rannells' character sings. These bigoted kids are like using religion as an excuse to hate gays. They're like, oh, we're good kids, we're Christian, we go to church. Then Andrew Rannells is like, you have a tattoo. That's against the Bible. And then this whole song just breaks down how absurd it is to use religion as an excuse. Which to me is like, yeah, it is one of the biggest things that's just absolutely absurd. Because it's like, okay, so you're allowed to get a tattoo, but you're not allowed to like gay people? Like, you can't pick which rules in the Bible to follow and which to not. That's called being a hypocrite. You're all being hypocrites. It's just absurd. I love that song. It was genius. But of course, you can tell in some of the performances that they are obviously lip-synced. Yeah, the actors recorded the songs in the studio, and they lip-synced to them when they shot the scenes. Yeah, it's not the 2012 Les Mis movie, but I could get over that because, again, the lyrics were just great. What I love about this movie is that, yeah, it's a movie about coming out and being who you are and standing up in the face of fear and all that, being confident, but it really portrayed those situations in a really realistic and mature manner. Sometimes it's not that easy to come out and be who you are. It's a very brave and really nerve-wracking thing to do. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm straight, I'm just saying. But I can imagine, you know? Like Ariana DeBose's character, she wants to come out out as gay, but her perfect mother, like, is so strict. Emma tells her, like, yeah, just stand up to your mother and be who you are. And Alyssa says, I want to, but it's scary because of my mother. You know, you get both sides of the argument there. It's just done really, really well. And this movie deals with a few different scenarios like that, because there are a few different characters and they're going through their different story arcs. Like James Corden's character, Barry, he had a problem with his parents when he came out when he was a kid. This movie deals with that situation in a very mature way. And there's also a message in this movie about just being a good person, a selfless person, with Meryl Streep and Keegan-Michael Key's characters. You know, don't just think about only yourself, put other people's needs before your own. You do that, then more people will like you. You know, good stuff like that. And the way the movie deals with that is also realistic and mature. Like all the written dialogue scenes, I was thinking along with them. I was like, yep, that's what I would say to this, and that would be the argument there. It just makes sense. And where the movie takes all these story arcs and converges them at the end, I just thought it was perfect. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I am gonna say that I have not cried this much at the end of a movie since Coco. Yeah, I was crying at the end of this movie. It was pretty brutal. It was just so good. It's a really good message. Because ultimately, I feel like this movie is about what the world should be. An inclusive world where everyone gets to be who they are with no fear of prejudice, no homophobia, no bullies, no racism, no sexism, just no nothing like that. That's the dream, you know? And it's just a beautiful thing. I really hope the world gets there someday. Is it a bit preachy? Yeah, maybe a little. But what can I say? It got to me. Guys, in the end, The Prom is one of my favorite movies of the year. I can say that hands down. I love all the acting, even though it clearly feels like a stage show, like you're watching a stage show. It's a movie adaptation of a stage show, but you can clearly tell that this was a stage show. Because people don't talk like that really in real life. The songs are great. The choreography is stunning. There are some really good dance numbers in this movie. But again, just the plot, the story, the messages this movie conveys, they really spoke to me. I know this isn't a theatrical release. If it were, I would say go see this movie right now, like right now. Go! It's on Netflix, so I will say go watch this movie right now. It's a really just feel-good time. It made me smile, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it put me through the ringer. So, The Prom, have you watched it on Netflix yet? What did you think about it? And what's a musical that maybe not a lot of people know about, but you think should be a movie? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.